Meghan Markle as previously having been a, quote, yacht girl, there have been more revelations going viral from the past. And I want to show you this.
Harry, who's that standing next to the Queen? Is that a servant? That's what Harry wrote in his book Spare. How stupid is this man that he actually believes it? Or is it that he wanted to believe it?
Look, let's be real for a second. We've all seen the headlines, but the vibe in 2026 has shifted. It's no longer about a royal escape. It's about a royal eviction from the public's interest.
The fact that so much of his attention remains on the United Kingdom, you know, the security, the secret meeting with the King's team, the constant court cases.
Prince Harry, the man who famously traded the grey skies of Buckingham Palace for the palm trees and performative empathy of California, is reportedly slipping out of Montecito.
I'm very angry about the ongoing attacks and diminishing of the reputation of the royal family and the monarchy.
And honestly, he looks less like a revolutionary and more like a tourist, who just realised the all-inclusive resort charges 5 times the price for room service.
His head is not with his family, his head is not with Meghan, his head is not with Montecito.
And then there's Meghan. While the world is moving on to the next big thing, she's still out there reportedly staging these lifestyle influencer photo ops.
Once a Soho House basic, always a Soho House basic bitch.
It's like she thinks paparazzi subscriptions are just something that comes bundled with a $9 latte. We were sold this grand cinematic fairy tale of freedom. You remember the Oprah interview, the soft lighting, the we just want to be authentic lines.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
My wife is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of color.
But somehow they've managed to turn high-stakes royal drama into a 24/7 reality show that even the fans are starting to mute. Harry's rumoured retreat from their Montecito fortress isn't some masterclass in strategic privacy. It's starting to look like the royal equivalent of rage quitting a video game because you can't get past the first level. He literally ghosted the British monarchy, the oldest firm in the world, only to find out that Hollywood is way more brutal when you aren't holding a royal warrant.
On a bigger level, it is damaging to the royal family. He's out there, this renegade royal, wanting his royal cake and eating. That's my problem with him.
Meanwhile, Meghan's PR sparkle, the thing that made her the most talked about woman on the planet, is dimming. It's dimming faster than her Spotify deal did back in the day. That California sunshine was supposed to be the great healer, right? It was supposed to wash away the trauma of the UK press. But in 2026, it's mostly just highlighting how spectacularly the dream has unraveled. The neighbours are whispering. The big-name producers are passing on their calls. And the cameras, they used to adore them. Now they just catch 2 people realizing that fame without the mystery of the crown is just, well, it's just exposure. And exposure is cold.
Numerous massive crises of confidence for Harry, because he realizes, holy shit, this is what I'm facing.
Why did Harry really leave? Maybe the palace wasn't the cage. Maybe the cage was that $14 million mansion with the 16 bathrooms and the constant need to prove you're living your best life. When every interview has to be a therapy session and every brand deal feels like an apology for existing, even a prince starts to crave the kind of silence that Malibu money just can't buy. Just when you thought the Montecito melodrama had finally gone quiet for the winter, Piers Morgan decided to pick up his favorite weapon, a microphone, and fire a few verbal grenades.
They tried to hide the files, and they failed.
She was a yacht girl. That's right. It's mentioned in the book.
It's really quite sad.
It makes them newsworthy.
And look, whether you love Piers or hate him, you have to admit the man knows where the bodies are buried. Morgan didn't just throw shade this time. He brought a total eclipse. He's been waiting years for this moment. When those yacht photos of Meghan started surfacing online recently, Piers looked like a man who just won a personal war against Photoshop and what he calls Hollywood hypocrisy.
Yeah, nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour. Truth be told, what you just said is complete and utter garbage.
These weren't the curated soft focus shots from the TIG. These were different. They painted a version of Meghan that's a far cry from the Duchess of Compassion she's been auditioning to play for the last 6 years. It was more champagne, fewer charities. The internet exploded. Obviously, it went up faster than one of Meghan's cancelled Netflix projects. And through it all, Harry went silent again, proving that his crisis response strategy is basically just being unavailable for comics.
Meghan she doesn't really care what the British audience thinks of it.
But apparently for me, that doesn't matter.
Piers, meanwhile, was roasting them like it was a national sport, calling the whole thing the ultimate royal rebrand gone wrong. He even coined a new phrase for it. From Buckingham Palace to billionaire pity parties. Suddenly, that empire of curated podcasts and empowerment speeches looked less like a movement and more like a collapsing PR tent. Every smug soundbite about authentic living now echoes with irony. Meghan's image didn't just crack because of the photos. It cracked because people finally saw the marketing department working underneath the mask. And as the storm brewed, one truth became impossible to ignore. When Piers Morgan swings, people don't just watch, they take notes. But those photos, they were just the tip of the iceberg. The circles they came from, that's where things get dark.
In fact, I've seen the tapes. I've got them somewhere. God knows where now. I've got them on some
So you've seen Nudie Rudy Meghan too?
I've seen more than one thing.
If Meghan's pre-royal past had a soundtrack, it wouldn't be an indie folk song about struggle. It would be clinking champagne glasses and the low hum of yacht engines. We're talking about a time before the royal titles, before the victim monologues, and before the Netflix crew was following her every move. Reports are surfacing that Meghan wasn't just hustling in Hollywood. She was reportedly perfecting her networking skills at sea. And we're not talking about the kind of networking that involves a life jacket and a tour guide. These weren't college parties. These were what some insiders are calling floating auditions for the world's most exclusive, most reckless, and most morally flexible club. Meghan loves to tell the story of how she worked hard for her success. The Sizzler salad bar story, the broken car door story, but the 2026 timeline tells a slightly different, juicier story. Between bit parts on Suits and posting inspirational quotes on her blog, she somehow had access to yachts that cost more per weekend than most people's annual rent.
And here we have Andrew, with whom looks like Marcus Anderson. This is in 2001, when Meghan Markle would have allegedly been on 3rd year. Meghan Markle hardly spent any time at Northwestern University. According to people, she got started her yachting days, and she never stopped, really. I don't think any of her boyfriends knew about it, but Meghan Markle was known as a hardcore yacht partying person, ready for anything.
How connections like that don't just happen to a struggling actress in Toronto. They're curated, they're groomed, and if we're being honest, they're often strategically selected. Fast forward to today, and those same glittering names from those old guest lists, the same. Circles whispered about in scandals and cover-ups are resurfacing. It's the ultimate irony. She built a brand on female empowerment. Yet, every resurfaced photo screams networking with billionaires 101.
The reason why these pictures are so problematic for Meghan Markle is because these pictures place her with Jeffrey Epstein.
And where does Harry fit into this? He went from being an army veteran, a guy who actually saw the world, to being arm candy. His playing the +1 at parties, he wouldn't have survived 5 minutes in without her. The prince who thought he was marrying an actress found himself co-starring in a sequel to Keeping Up with the Scandals. And he doesn't even have a script. The moment those yacht photos started lighting up the timelines, sources say Meghan went into full-blown crisis mode. This wasn't calm, collected Duchess energy. This was the Wi-Fi cutout during a live interview panic.
This has now been going viral this week, Lady C.
These pictures that I'm about to show you have been banned from the internet. They were scrubbed, but now they're back. They're finally out there.
Her team, what's left of it, scrambled like interns on their last unpaid day. They were reportedly trying to scrub images, silence commentators, and control the narrative. But here's the thing about 2026. Trying to silence the internet now is like trying to hide glitter. Once it's out there, it's everywhere. It's in the cracks of the floorboards. It's on every subreddit and every TikTok channel. Meghan allegedly reached out to her friends in the media. But that's the catch, isn't it? Meghan's friends list is starting to look like the recently removed section on a streaming app. The people who used to sing her praises from the rooftops, they're suddenly pretending they've never heard of her. It's as if being close to the Sussex brand is a virus they finally recovered from. And Harry, he just sat there quiet again. It's becoming a pattern. He's looking less like a knight in shining armor and more like a background extra in his own scandal. The PR spin tried to reframe the whole yacht story as targeted harassment, but the more they pushed back, the more guilty it looked to the public. Silence used to look strategic for Meghan. Now it just looks scared.